leadership and maturity. The people want it. Let's do the right thing. Find a consensus to protect the interests of all our citizens.
Yeah. Thank you. Order. A 5-minute limit on backbench speeches must now apply with immediate effect. Nicky Morgan.
Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Speaker, for calling me to speak in this important, groundbreaking and unprecedented debate. I was pleased to be one of the 30 MPs on this side of the House who helped to secure this debate to happen. I am sorry, in a way, that it is happening, but the fact that it is happening shows that, unfortunately, so far, the government's strategy of getting a withdrawal agreement through this House has not succeeded. But to be clear, I will vote for that withdrawal agreement if and when it is represented to the House, because I think it is the best way for us to leave the EU in an orderly fashion as soon as that is practicable. Mr. Speaker, I would have risen to speak to Amendment N, standing in my name and the name of other honourable and right honourable members, but obviously it has not been called today. But a word at the top of that amendment has been used several times. It's been used by the member for Aberavon. It was being used by the SNP leader who has just spoken, although I wasn't entirely sure that what he asked people to do fulfilled its strictures, and that word is compromise. And that is a word that is absolutely and an action that is needed to be practised by members on all sides of this House if today, and potentially Monday, is going to have an effect. Because the point is that honourable and right honourable members should be voting for what they could countenance today, not what is their preferred option. If we stay in our silos and our trenches, as I've spoken about before, we will, as a House, not find a way through this, and unfortunately we will fulfil what the Prime Minister said last week, which is that this House cannot find a way through. And I think we will not have done our job as parliamentary representatives if that is the case. I'm sorry that the honourable member for Grantham and Stamford is not in his place, because in Common Market 2.0, which is a proposal I will support tonight, he talks about customs union and customs arrangements. And one of the advantages that have been involved in the Malthouse Compromise talks is that there are alternative arrangements that can be secured to avoid a hard border on the island of Ireland. Because what we want to avoid on that border is no physical infrastructure and no customs formalities at the border. And it is possible, with 5 key changes, which there isn't time to talk about today, but there might be in future debates, and I'm very happy to talk to any honourable or right honourable members about those key changes. It would be possible to negotiate those changes. Now, the Leader of the House talked about any solution being deliverable and negotiable. And having alternative arrangements to avoid the need to be in a customs union is both deliverable and it is negotiable, because we know the EU have already conceded the principle of them. In the documents tabled by the government on the 11th of March, before the last meaningful vote, the EU have clearly said that such negotiations on those arrangements should commence immediately. Now, Mr. Speaker, I heard earlier on your strictures to the government about the test that has to be met in order for the withdrawal agreement to be brought back to this House. You want to see significant change. Well, one way of achieving such significant change would be to allow the UK and the EU time to negotiate those alternative arrangements and put them into the withdrawal agreement so that the backstop is superseded. And actually, looking at the names who had signed Amendment N, you can see that there are members of this House who are ready to sign up to that as a principle. My previous life as a solicitor negotiating M&A deals, I spent many less than happy hour locked into meeting rooms with fellow lawyers and with clients where, frankly, we just didn't leave until the deal had been done. And that is what needs to happen now in order to get this backstop replaced and the alternative arrangements secured, if that is what members of this House wanted to do. My personal vote tonight will be I will vote for any option that gives a negotiated settlement that leads to an orderly exit from the EU. The question for this House, which may arise after Monday, which I have to see, is what the government's response to that is and how any government is going to implement what this House has chosen potentially to identify as a way forward. There may well be difficult decisions for the government to make, but also for this House about the form of the government that takes that forward. Will we need even greater cross-party working to arrive at a solution and a government that can negotiate the outcome with the EU. Although today is an important step forward, it really is only the start of the process of arriving at compromise, and I entirely agree with the chairman of the Brexit Select Committee who said really we should have started this process 2 years ago, and I think the country, this Parliament and the government will be in a much happier place.
Thank